Okay, so right now let's focus on question 8a. So it's really just asking you to write it in terms of a standard form. But what is really a standard form is that now you see that is really in the decimal places, and you want to kind of make it look nicer, to make it something multiplied by the 10 to the power something. So what should we really do? So the common thing that I would usually do in my notes is really just look at, like, really just copy the number out first. And what I would do is, as I said, I want to convert it into form of something multiply to the multiply 10 to the power something, right? So what I would do is to look at it like, so what is that something? And I would actually shift it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here I can actually turn this into 8.9. But obviously, it's not really directly just equals to 8.9. It's actually multiplied by 10 to the power something. But what is that something? So here, as I said, I have shifted the decimal places 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So that's why I would then do as a minus 5. That is the correct answer for the standard form. Alright? But we cannot, just to make sure that we cannot make it into like 0.89. That's not the standard form that we want. Usually we want it to have like 1 decimal places, and that's why it turns into an 8.9 as a standard form. Alright, so here in part B, it is really a standard form because you see that there is an 8 point something. Alright, so with an 8 point something, now they are asking us to convert it as an original number, and it's a 10 to the power 4. So what I would expect a student to do is to do it like this. So it's with the 10 to the power 4. So I would then move it 1, 2, 3, 4. So adding the 0 here, and essentially the answer in original or ordinary number would now become 83400, and that's it. Okay, and then now moving on to 9a, really is asking us to simplify the answer, right? To simplify the answer, the first thing that we need to be careful is that 8 is now multiplied by 40 to the power 0. We got to bear in mind that everything to the power 0 actually is 1. So here is really just 8 multiplied by 1. And that the answer would be 8. Remember, everything, as long as it is to the power of 0, it actually represents that as 1. Alright, so this is how we do part A. And then now moving on to 9b. 9b is that if I were to express this formula in a different way, it's x to the power 6 divided by x to the power minus 5. And we got to remember that when it is at the denominator, when it is x to the minus 5, we want to shift it to make it positive. What we would do is that we would then do x6 multiplied by x to the power 5, because now we shifted from the bottom all the way up, so we can actually get rid of the negative sign to make it x to the power 5, and this would then eventually become x to the power 11. And because the question is asking for the value of p, which is here, the value of the p would now be 11. So that's the final answer for part B. And now moving on to part C, right? Part C is now a full bracket with a cube with a power to 3. So we would then, everything, we would have to have a power of 3. So first of all, let's look at 2. If I want it to be the power of 3, it would now become 8. And then k squared to the power of 3 would then become k6. M to the power of 4 would then become m to the power of 12. Because whenever there's a power linked to a letter, and now outside the bracket there is something, you simply use the power multiplied by each other. So that's why k squared, that 2 will multiply by 3 to get you the 6, m to the power 4, that 4 will multiply by 3 to get you the 12. And that's why this is the final answer for part C.